Every business in America is going through this right now. There are people that want their money back within the distribution, shareholder, and lender system. And for me, and I'm telling you right now, you're the first to hear it, I'm setting up a resource called wondertrust.com, hiring, if not hundreds, thousands of accountants and lawyers, because I don't know how else to be compliant.
All right, we are continuing to follow the fallout from the Supreme Court's stunning decision to strike down President Trump's signature tariff policy. But the president and his advisors say he has many options to enact different tariffs. Joining us now to discuss, the Shark Tank investor himself, Kevin O'Leary. Mr. Wonderful. Sir, always great to see you. So this has got to be a pretty big day in your world. What has the reaction been?
It's not a great day for me. We were humming along nicely until this morning. Here's what's happening on the ground. I know you've been talking about the politics and the policy, but let's talk about a business making $100 million in sales. It might have paid out $5 million in the last 14 months on these tariffs. And they're in my portfolio. I got phone calls from our customers, from our lenders because we borrowed against our line of credit, and from our shareholders that we reduced distributions on during this period waiting to settle on the tariffs. They all want their money back. Now, to be compliant, what am I supposed to do? I don't even know how this is going to get filed. It's going to be with Treasury, not the IRS, I assume. I'm going to try and get a meeting with staffers, best as staffers, when I get to the State of the Union next week to see if they can give me some guidance, because my head's getting squeezed from the top and the bottom to be compliant. And every business in America is going through this right now. There are people that want their money back within the distribution, shareholder, and lender system. And for me, and I'm telling you right now, you're the first to hear it, I'm setting up a resource called wondertrust.com, hiring, if not hundreds, thousands of accountants and lawyers, because I don't know how else to be compliant. And I'm going to use them with my companies. What else are we supposed to do? Because everybody wants their money back. And I don't know what the policy is going to be on that. It's not a great afternoon for me, to be honest with you.
Do you feel like you even know who is in charge of deciding what you're supposed to do?
Well, from the business perspective, and remember, I keep telling everybody this, the 5 to 500 employees, the $100 million companies I'm talking about, we employ 50+% of everybody in America. We are the backbone of the economy. We just need to know the rules. You just have to tell us we're happy to abide by the rules. But you can understand the pressure point now. If $150 billion has to go back, the people that paid it want it back. It would have been better on a practical basis to have not done this, I think, but it's history. It's water under the bridge now.
Like for the president not to have done it, or for the Supreme Court not to have struck it down?
No, the Supreme Court, they've caused a nightmare here. They called it a mess themselves. What am I supposed to do next?
So do you think in the big picture, fewer tariffs are going to be better for the world? Because I understand you're talking about this specific situation, but do you think reining in the president, preventing this from happening again under some other president in the future, will prevent more of these types of messes?
No, it was just these tariffs as opposed as a penalty. There's nothing wrong with reciprocal tariffs. If a country adds a 10% VAT tax, and we don't call it VAT tax in the U.S., we'll just do a 10% tariff. There's nothing wrong with that. That's the stable tariff negotiation that's gone on forever. But you've got situations where punitive tariffs were used during this period the Supreme Court looked at and ruled on, this morning and said, no, you can't do that. That's a tax, and Congress wasn't consulted. But no one ever thinks about the small business guy that's running a business. Where does he sit in this now? He has to somehow go get this back from Treasury, the $150 billion, and distribute it to the people that paid it, or he won't be compliant. And I think that's what I wish the Supreme Court had called me. I know this sounds ridiculous, and before they'd ruled on this, because I would have said to them, wait a second, this isn't going to help the people that employ half the people in America. This is not going to be easy. This is an additional cost on us. This is a major compliance cost.
So, question for you. In my case, which I was talking about earlier on the show, right? I bought something from a small company, small business overseas. FedEx charged me about $80 for it, right? I get a bill from them after it comes in the mail, right? Should I get that money back from FedEx?
Well, you know what? The practical reality is when you're a small business and you have, 20% of your customers do 80% of your business, they have already called us today and said, we expect you to be our advocate and to get back our money. We expect you to be the fulcrum, the nexus, the center of how you're going to do this, or our relationship will be tainted with you. And so we don't want that. We like our customers.
And you don't understand yet what the law is going to say, right? Like, I guess my question is, how much do we or don't we know about, like, does the government owe FedEx that money and then does FedEx owe me that money, or does FedEx not owe me that money? I mean, I share your confusion.
Yeah, don't worry. I'm very fortunate. I get to meet with everybody on the Hill. I'm going there on Tuesday. I'll get everybody the answers they need because I have no choice but to find out. I mean, that's the bottom line. There is confusion, but I can tell you the people that paid this on the supply chain on the way in and on the way out to the customer. And by the way, many companies did not actually, they ate the cost themselves. They absorbed the $5 million out of the 100. They've never distributed to their customers. And now they have to communicate saying, look, I don't owe you anything because I never charged you for it. And so that's small business about relationships between customers and the company and its reputation.
Yeah.
And so, that's really what we face here. But you can, listen, I'm putting all the information out to the public on wondertrust.com. I will get the answers. I'm an advocate for small business. We're in a little bit of a poo-poo situation, a poo-poo storm right now.
It's a very, I think, polite way to say, or relatively polite way to say what, most politicians don't seem to be afraid of saying in public anymore, even though they used to not be allowed to. Kevin O'Leary, thank you. Maybe come back after you talk to all those members at the State of the Union. Let us know what you find out.